Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're newly awakened from that nightmare that we just had to do. Very, very intense battle. So goddamn difficult. But fair, ultimately fair. So these item boxes from henceforth are going to be giving us red orbs. A lot of red orbs. And it's not because I've maxed out the items, like my health and magic. Obviously, you can clearly see that they are not even upgraded, not once. But this is Big Benedict, and we're playing God of War 3 on Chaos difficulty, and this is my no upgrade run plus. So, there is one chest that has a Gorgon Eye later in the level, but this will be the final video leading up to the 3 videos that will follow, which are the Zeus boss fight videos. So, really strange thing happens up here. When you get to the satyrs, the game steals all of your magic. I don't know what the hell it is, but what I would do is I would smash these 2 Onyx shards, this one and the next one, do the battles, and then go back and save it. Otherwise, they steal your magic, and it could be helpful for the satyr fight. But when I got to these satyrs, for the first time in my life with God of War 3, I was looking at the satyrs and I was laughing at them. There was no fear inside me because I had, for 24 hours, off and on, but at least 24 hours. Not less than that, possibly more, but at least 24 hours. I was trying to figure out how to deal with those satyrs. And I thought I knew how to deal with them, and I did. But far too frequently in my career of this game, I had not been launching them at the proper times, and I was getting punished for it. So we have some hellhounds and a couple of sirens here. This has always been a sad point in the game for me because it's just that point where you know there's not much left, and I can't express how much I love this game. I had a teacher a long time ago that said, like, you can learn a lot more from a person than from hearing them say what they hate, than from hearing them say what they love. It's just more insightful. I mean, I could talk all the shit I want to about how much I'm sick of hearing about Destiny, how much I abhor and loathe and hold in the fiercest contempt first-person games and first-person shooters. But my true nature thrives more in these games, and I love them, and I want more of them. And I always thought that comment was very insightful. But like I said, it's pretty sad because we're nearing the conclusion of the game, and I ruined Zeus in the first of the 3 fights, that Mortal Kombat-esque fight. I ruined him. I ruined all of his chances for advancement in his field. So up here we have an Onyx shard to smash, and then there will be an abrupt edit over here. After this, I mean, it won't be abrupt, but my placement will seem out of place. So we have a few of these guys to deal with. The only thing I will say about magic conservation is on the first of the 3 battles versus Zeus, because I thought they refilled your health, but they do not. I mean, your magic. They don't do either. But make sure that you don't use any magic or hardly any on the first form, and I'll take you through that and how to do it. But there was one individual's video that I was watching. His name is the Taz1, and it's a kind of a weird way of saying it, but it's T-A-Z and then the word 1 spelled out, and then the number 1, so Taz1 1. And I was searching for a lot of videos, and I saw his video, I saw Shinobu's video of the Hades Cerberus Breeder, and I saw Mr. Empirical's 2 videos where he used the Hades claws, and then I also saw somebody else, I don't know what his name was, but the guy got really fucking lucky. I mean, I don't know if it was luck, but because what he did was, I think he got to the point where he had like 10% of his health at one point, and then he did like 2 phases of that fight without getting hit. He's really impressive. But I was scrolling through the comments of the Taz11's video, and this guy has, I don't know if he subscribes to me, but when I was doing Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, I had I sent out a request to him because I heard that he had it, I think for the Wii U too. We both had it, and I just wanted to see where I was on the leaderboards because I wanted to see how I ranked and how many more people had beaten Ultimate Ninja difficulty. Is that what it's called? Ultimate? Yeah, I think Ultimate Ninja. And he made a little 10-second video for me, but it was a really high quality video, and it's still on his channel. You can see it, and he's got a lot of skill. He has so much skill that I wish I had his skill, kind of. But the thing is, like, I value my own skill and how I play this game, but I do respect his skill because it's just he does a lot of no upgrade runs. I think that's pretty much all he does. But it's really good stuff, and hopefully he's watching and he could let me know if he's a sub of mine. But the thing is, I was scrolling through the comments on his video and I saw a comment that he had written 3 years ago, because all this footage is pretty old, and the Taz11 was responding to somebody else, and I just wanted to read this because it's interesting, and I'm reading verbatim. He said, "Also, a lot of people think that playing without upgrades is hard, and it isn't at all. I believe playing with upgrades is harder. Maybe some parts are far easier, but playing with style with upgrades isn't too easy, because you have to know all the combos and the possibilities to dick around, and in a no upgrade run you have the basic moves and few ways to mess around. There are much less combos to learn, so it is far easier to get used to." I thought, for a lot of the time when I was in my 24-hour imprisonment at my computer chair, when I was doing that fight, that was running through my mind because it's really intriguing. You know, at one point, you can get you can get a lot better with just a basic set of moves that you can use with this particular type of run, because you're very limited by what you have. So then you can get really good with using the basic set of moves. So in that respect, I do agree that it's easier, but I'll be the first to admit that, you know, if you have all the upgrades and everything, like that fight, I would have only struggled for about 3 or 4 hours rather than 24 hours. So I do and do not agree with his comment, but nevertheless, I found it really, really interesting, and it opened a lot of questions inside my mind when I was reading it, because now that I've completed this no upgrade run, I have some confidence. But I don't think I've struggled that much on any boss fight except the Vanquish boss fight, and I've easily spent 30 hours so far trying to beat that situation, and it was about tantamount to the Loom Chamber difficulty for me, because I was actually looking over my own Chaos run from a couple of years ago, and I hardly know anything that I know now. So with a lot of replaying games and learning them, don't just play them, but just try to learn them. Try to seek out people who you know that are better than you, and just ask them questions. Taz1 is a great person to start. So yeah, just start slaughtering these guys. You know how to do it. If you can do the Satyr fight with the Cerberus, you know, just fighting 1 or 2 is so easy. And also, someone also was asking me, you know, you're a hardcore gamer, why don't you play Dark Souls, or why haven't you played Dark Souls? And it at first sounded like he was being negative and trying to provoke something, but I reread it and the guy was basically saying, you know, it would seem, you know, thus far that you have, you know, hardcore gaming in your blood, in your veins, He was just curious, and obviously, a lot of these people, they haven't done a lot of these challenges that, you know, like myself and Taz One and all these other people have. Like, do you think I was just gonna say, like, do you think I'm scared to do that? I would love to love Dark Souls, but I don't like it at all. In fact, I tried to restrain myself, and I said I just didn't care for it. But the fact is, I really hate it. I hate RPG. I used to like it, but not anymore. I like straight up games like this that don't require you to equip and do all this other extra stuff. I like this format. I like the Ninja Gaiden format and other formats like that. But people, they just don't understand. You know, Dark Souls is probably very hard. And this guy, I remember his username from my first Ascension guide. So you can't repeat yourself enough on here, because I'm sure I've said my opinion on Dark Souls so many times. But I'm not mad at the guy. It's just, you would think your words would stick at some point, but maybe he hadn't watched those videos. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. However, this part, when I first saw this, I thought, you know, it's going to be harder than the previous sequence, but it's not. It's a joke. The bullshit flying sequence, that is the true bullshit. So what have I done with this, you might wonder? Well, I've gone through the entire game with the computer doing the QuickTime events for me. I've gone through the game and used the conch shell to give myself infinite magic just for the first phase of the Hades boss fight, just so that I can get to the second phase. Because if I hadn't done that, I would have been in my chair for 60 hours. And the reason and you might say to yourself, you spent 24 hours trying to beat that fucking part? Do you know what you could have done in life outside improving the world, improving yourself in the process? You know, instead of doing that, you could have done so many other things. But when obsession grabs you and hooks you, and oh, by the way, the satyrs, they do have one move that you can't block. It's when they do a double jump and try to hook you with the back of their weapon. You can't block it. And you might be able to perfect guard it and parry, but I know you cannot block it. But the thing is, I do other stuff outside the house. You know, believe me, when I needed to cool off, I was outside immediately getting fresh air. And I take a lot of pride. I am very excited that I completed this. And I wouldn't have done that fight if it wasn't fair. It's a fair fight. It's just fucking hard. And I don't shirk difficulty. Sometimes I even do it when it's cheap, like the Scorpion. So just because it's Dark Souls, it doesn't mean that it's the height of difficulty. But anyway, I'm not getting that one chest right there because it has a Gorgon Eye. If I had got the Gorgon Eye earlier and not having any in my inventory, that would have given me some orbs, if you understand that. It's kind of complicated, but yeah, we all know Dark Souls is very difficult, and I'm not saying that to patronize it. I'm just saying you have to realize that you can't, first of all, you can't force somebody to like anything. Second of all, we all find our own challenges in life that we want to do. I don't want to do Dark Souls ever. I want to do things like this. I want to replay Ascension maybe. I want to do other things, you know. But over here there are a couple of chests, and the video is going to end right as I begin to pull the crank, because all you do is you pull the crank around the chain, around this thing right here, and then it'll usher us into the first of 3 of the boss